Hello everyone and welcome to the channel, and in today's video I have a 2013 Triumph Tiger 800, and it is quite a high mileage bike. That's why it is here today, because the clutch has gone. It is on 90,000, so this has been an absolute fantastic workhorse. It is the father-in-law's bike. I just had it outside, running it up, getting it warm, because obviously we might as well drain the oil out, put some fresh oil in, and obviously swap the clutch out. And he left me with no petrol. So not only does he want the clutch changing, he wants me to fill it up as well, I'm guessing. So yeah, look at this. 90,472. So it didn't quite make it to its big birthday, but hopefully new clutch, fresh oil, and we can get it to its big birthday. He has actually gave me some parts. We have got a book. We've got some gaskets in there, I'm guessing. Yeah, clutch cover gasket. We've got a clutch kit and a oil filter. So the first thing to do is to take the clutch pack. Let's open it up. And then that is just a universal clutch pack. And what we're going to do is soak them in oil just while we strip everything apart and get everything ready. And then dump it all in there. Cool. My missus would absolutely kill me if she could see her best glass dish in here right now. So there we go. We can now just let the new clutch pack just completely soak in there. So yeah, so the father-in-law must have just ordered like a universal clutch pack kit where you don't get the steel plates or the springs. So hopefully when we take everything apart, we'll measure everything, double check everything. So hopefully it's not going to be a basket, plates or spring. So fingers crossed we're doing good. I mean, 90k is quite a bit on a clutch, but hopefully it is only those plates. Now double check anything with your manual, guys, because obviously you get dry, you get wet clutches, and I think you can actually get like semi-wet clutches as well. So obviously wet clutches you do need to submerge for a little bit. Dry clutches you definitely don't want to be getting any oil on them whatsoever. So let's drop the oil out this bike and let's crack on. So you want to either remove your dipstick or oil cap like this. Ooh, that was nice and tight. Oh geez, the oil is pretty dark. Definitely needed an oil change. Could be a good sign that the clutch has completely burnt out. So now that's pretty much drained. You can see that the oil is pretty dark, so that could be a very good indication that the clutch fibers have sort of burnt out, mixed with the oil. So that's always why you need to do regular oil services on bikes. And it could also be, I think the uses 1540 in this bike. Maybe I would use a bit of a lighter grade, but that's the oil he wants to put in it. So yeah, let's get this clutch whipped out. So next come down to our clutch adjuster. Let's back that off. And then we can just disconnect the cable. There we go. Lovely. Now we can remove our clutch cover. Oil cap back on, just so we don't drop anything in there. So there we go. So there's our ring of bolts on there. And as you can see, you probably can't, but there is a couple of longer ones in there and a few short ones. So that is why it is always best to do that, because if you just put them all in a pot, went to put them back in, you have a high chance of stripping something that you really don't want to. So yeah, always use that. So a little bit of cloth underneath just to catch any more engine oil. And then if you just get a rubber mallet, gently give her a tap, she should, with a bit of luck, pop right out. Yeah, she's starting to come there now. And there we go. Now what we need to do is undo these all nice and evenly. Just that way it brings this plate off square. You don't want to damage anything. So just take your time, back them all out nice and equally.
A few minutes later.
So there we go. As you can see, all the springs are now backed off nicely. Let's remove all of them. And then now this is where you need to be extremely careful, because you don't just want to pull everything out, drop everything and muddle everything up, because clutches do need to go back in the exact order they come out. So the first thing you kind of want to do is just carefully pull off the end pressure plate. That's slipped out behind. So I'm going to remove this part here now. So I'm going to put my hand in like this, grab a pick and slide everything all out, because like I say, you want to keep this in the order that everything comes out in. That is the order that they go in, so I'm going to lay it down on here. Doesn't feel like there's any play in here at all actually, so that's another good sign. And then what we're going to do is, we've laid our clutch pack out like that. I'm going to pick it up, keep it facing that way down, and take it over to our bench there. So now we're over at the bench. This is why it is so important to take the clutch off exactly as it comes off the engine, because on this you've got like an anti-judder spring, and that does go a certain way. And then if you look at this plate here, if I just show you, so if we put them down there like that, take out the bottom friction plate and show you the top one. So yeah, look, as you can see, the bottom one is a lot thinner compared to the outer one, and that is just as this builds up with the anti-judder springs. So that is why, guys, you have to be extremely careful on how you take everything out of a clutch. And also on the Tiger, I think the front steel plates here, sorry, are 1.6 and the back ones are 2. So that is why you've got to be extremely careful at pulling your clutches out. Keep them exactly as they are and everything lined up. So we're going to take our vernier and our top friction plate. Now for our friction plates, 3 mil is good, and then 2.8 is kind of the service limit. So 2.8 and anything below definitely needs to be replaced. So let's check what the outer one says. 3.3. I think I'm getting pranked right now. Is it brand new? 3.5. 3.5. Yeah, I'm getting pranked here. This clutch looks pretty decent. So let's maybe get halfway into the pack and check one. So if we just split it like that, pick up this one. See, that does look a little bit more worn. And, oh wow, a complete difference now. 2.52, 2.55, and 2.6. So yeah, the inner ones are definitely slightly more worn. Let's check another one. Yeah, and again, there's a 2.53 in there, 2.5. Let's put the clutch back like that. Let's lift our top plate off. Let's make a little bit of room over here. And how to check to see if a steel plate is warped, what you can do is put it down on a nice flat surface like that. And like I say, on this clutch, it's 0.20, so it's 0.20 of a mil. And what you can do is just try, see if you can get that under at all. And as you can see, that plate is looking pretty good. So let's put that one back on there. Let's grab one out of the middle. Let's put it down. I'm never going to get that under there. So these plates aren't warped at all. So this is actually a really decent, solid clutch, because I was honestly expecting to see a lot more wear than that. I mean, the plates aren't blue at all, so they haven't been burnt out. So that's a good sign. It's probably just that the friction plates are just starting to get a little bit too low, and they are just starting to slip, perhaps. Now, I don't think that these are a serviceable item. It doesn't say anything about them in the manual, so we are just going to use the original anti-judder springs and hope that that's okay. But, of course, we're going to just swap out all of our clutch fiber plates. So, let's put this to one side here. Let's bring over our Aunt Bessie gravy. And then basically what we're going to want to do is build up our new clutch pack. So that's going to be starting with the basket. And then we need the brand new small friction plate, which is actually this one on top here. We're going to slot that one on the inside of that one. And you can tell with that plate is that one because that's where the anti-judder spring has sort of mated on the surface of that. So we're going to put that one down there next. Now I'm going to put a plate in, which gets rid of this one. Steel plate down, new plate in. We get rid of that one. We put our steel plate in. We put the new one on. We get rid of that one. We put the new steel plate in. We get a new friction pad. And that's basically what you're doing, is it's basically steel plate, friction pad, steel plate, friction pad. And that's basically how you just build the clutch up. And then that's the last one to get rid of. And then that is the last one to put on. And as you can see, that worked out perfectly. Now, if you wanted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've put 9 in and we've removed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is now pretty perfect. And what you can do is measure that, check it all again with your manufacturer spec. Now I need to try bring you over to the bike with a dirty hand. Let me go put this all down. So back over to the engine. There's my clutch pack still facing the correct way. There's the basket. We can now start putting it all back on in that same order. Put in our spring and locking things, so they go in like that. So now I'm going to hold up the pack basically like that in my hand, so I now know how I need to assemble them all. Steel plate on. Friction plate. Steel plate. Friction plate. Steel plate. Friction plate. Steel plate. Friction plate. I don't know why I keep saying this to myself. I'm going to be going to bed tonight dreaming of steel plate, friction plate, steel plate, friction plate.
3 days later.
We can slide that back in. And then we slide our pressure plate over like that. Oh, what I probably should have told you guys, this bike's actually nice and clean, but you can go around your case and clean up if you've got any gasket left. So let's move our lovely gravy to one side, which we'll use shortly. Let's bring up the cover, because what we need to now do is just remove this gasket. Cool, you can tell it's the original one. That is baked on that. Cool. Just look how much gasket there is. Absolutely just disintegrated. Like I say, original gasket, original clutch. So cleaned up the cover. It's come out really nice. No bits of gasket left in there. And surface is good. And then work out which way it goes. So I want to put it this way. Cool, that gasket stinks. Poor. What the Right, so there we go. Gasket is on, dowser in, ready to put it back on the engine. And I wish you guys could smell this gasket, because I was getting a funky old smell of something, and I was like, what is that? I sniffed this gasket, I nearly threw up. I reckon the guy who put it in the packet about 10 years ago probably farted in there, and that has just brewed into an absolute monster. So I'm getting this on the bike, because I'm nearly going to throw up smelling this. Cool, guys, I'm not even exaggerating. I don't think I've ever opened up a gasket and just smelt like pure fart. So let me know in the comments if you have, because that is rough. Let me get it on the bike. So it's time to put it back on. I have just put a little bit of engine oil back in around the sort of gear lever in there, just to help lubricate everything up. And then set them to 9 Newton meters. Let's not forget to put our clutch cable back on and in. Yep, and of course it is tight. Right, to the Batmobile. Right, let's try with this little beauty now. Oh my god. Who? Jesus. That is all my strength on the world's smallest filter. Maybe I'm getting weaker as I get older. Oh my god, there she goes. When she squeals like that, you know she's let go. Cool, that was over-torqued, that is for sure. And interestingly enough, there's a genuine Triumph oil filter on there, so I'd have to find out if that's a dealership that has done a service on that recently. Oh, look at that, the O-ring actually comes all nice and greased up. Normally get a bit of engine oil and run it around the outside, but yeah. So let's place that on. So with an oil filter, if you're as strong as me, hand tight is genuinely more than good enough. But if you're not too sure, you can just sort of do it as hand tight as you can, and then just give that like a small little turn, not even like a quarter. I can guarantee you that that'll be tight. That feels good. We will get rid of the old sump washer. Place it on there. Lighten that up, and then on this bike, that's 25 Newton meters. Don't forget, always use a bit of brake cleaner. Clean everything back up. Because you don't want a bit of old engine oil burning away onto the sump or stuck up in the sort of guards like this one. And there we go, time to put some oil in. And now we can clean out my Mrs. Best dish. We'll give that a wipe, put that back in the cupboard and hope she doesn't see what happened. This is quite thick oil, might be here a while. And there we go, that is the oil topped up, and I've gone slightly over where I should do, but that is just because once the oil fires everywhere and it goes around the oil filter, it will drop a little bit. So hopefully if we get it bang on right, we only have to put a little bit in, or we might get lucky and not have to put any oil in. So clutch cable is back on, and one thing I have noticed is, look, the lock-in ring and adjuster isn't quite where it should be. So maybe that's something I should have checked straight away, but the clutch does feel pretty solid. It's not like it's not doing its job. Let me just see. No, I can't undo that. That is so tight. Jesus, let me crack that off. Cool. That is pretty well seized on. There we go. Cool. I can feel all the crud in it actually. So what we need to do is disconnect this cable, take it out, clean everything up. So let's push that all the way in. And there we go. That's it out. Just give that a little bit of a wipe. Good thing is it does work. Let's lubricate it up. So we grab the little lubricating tool. Nice and tight. Bit of rag. And then all I'm going to use is a universal maintenance lubricant. And with a bit of luck, if we check, grab the camera, and then if we go down here, hopefully we should see, which I don't know if you can on the camera, but I can. There's a few drops there. So there we go. That's going to push any of the dirt or dust that might be sort of getting caught in the cable. It did feel like it moved freely, but like I say, that will clean it and now lubricate it. So let's put it back on here now. So we'll take a quick look at this adjuster, and as you can see, there is a bit of rust in there. So let's clean this off. And there we go. It is moving a lot better than before. There we go. That's gone up in there. Lovely. There we go. So that feels pretty solid there. It's looking good down there. Lock that in there. Tighten them in. Yeah, feels pretty good to me. Let's top this up with a bit of fuel. Get the tools out there. Grab the universal funnel. Hopefully I get reimbursed for the fuel. And I also noticed that this ferrule's a little bit loose, so let's nip that one up. And I also double checked the expansion tank here, and that looks pretty bone dry. So I'm going to top that off. And that looks extremely fun to top up. Why do they make things like that? At least put a little plastic funnel so you can pull it out. That just would be the best idea. So you might as well just get a bucket of water and just tip it down there and hope for the best. And don't forget to check the tyre pressures. So I'm guessing the front's low as well. So that's the tyre pressures done, but the rear tyre, I don't know if you'll pick this up on the camera, but that has squared off quite badly. So that'll probably need a new tyre pretty soon. So let's get the bike outside, fired up, get the oil moving, check the clutch, and then yeah, take it back to him, and hopefully it won't sit in the back of his garage for another year. Hopefully we'll get it to 100,000, let it have its big birthday. But yeah, so guys, get down in the comments and let me know if you've ever had a bike, you've got that past 100,000. What bike was it? Did you have any problems out of it? I'm always interested to know. So yeah, leave us a comment down there. Let's get the bike out and fire it up. So there we go, guys. That is the video on the Tiger 800. It's now got a brand new clutch, a fresh oil change, so it's ready to go on and do its next big journey and hit the 100,000 miles. Like I said earlier on in the video, go down to the comments and let me know if you've had a bike that has hit 100,000 miles. I think that is quite an achievement, so I'm dying to know if any of your bikes have made it too. And if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe if you're new here. We've got plenty more videos coming up in the next few weeks. Hopefully the R6 is back. We've also done a little bit to the CBR 600 and we've got a couple more bits to do to a few other bikes. So guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.